I'm Niyah Borgman, and this is my faith story. It's a bit unusual, but those who know me know that I'm a tad unusual myself. My faith story began when I was around 12 years old. I was going through a very tough time. I began to question everything in my faith, and those years of Bible study and going to church felt meaningless. I just felt very alone. That year, I went to Fort Wilderness for the first time. After Fort, I felt like everything in my faith had suddenly been changed. I got swept up in the stories, the atmosphere. I even get swept up in the beautiful nature. That togetherness that was part of Fort just radiated through me. And I felt like a whole new person. I felt like my eyes had been opened and they were suddenly seeing everything again. And I just really felt set in my faith. Those feelings lasted about a month before they were all gone again. And after they left, everything seemed to crash down, and it just felt 50 times worse than the first time. Personal problems just started to pile up, and I began to wonder if there was a God at all. And if there was, well, I was very angry that this God that was there for everyone seemingly wasn't there for me. My second trip to Fort, when I was around 13 years old, I stepped up and told everybody with my hand on a Bible that I was fully devoted to the Lord. At the time, I had felt completely confident. Fort had once again opened my eyes, and I saw everything in a whole new light. I was back to reading the Bible every night and doing things that I didn't normally do. I had gotten so caught up in the moment that I thought that announcing to everyone that the Lord was my God and I was his child would make it true. But it turns out that just because you say something out loud and follow a crowd does not mean at all that you are part of that group or that what you said was true. And I realized this very quickly. I began to feel hopeless. I thought I was abandoned. I didn't understand how everybody was so incredibly devoted to the faith in all aspects of their life. By my third time at Fort, I was extremely nervous. I had no idea what I was going to do or say or what was going to happen. I was hesitant, to say the least, because it felt like every time I went there, a brand new door to the Lord opened and then was slammed shut in my face. I spent a lot of time alone at Fort, either in the woods or in my room. And the time that I didn't spend alone, I spent with youth leaders. I just felt that the world was on my shoulders. I had this weight on my chest, and it seemed like it was one of those now or never moments, that Fort was the only time that I would be alone and I would be calm enough to really sit and contemplate about my faith. But I wanted to be sure that if I stepped up again in front of everyone and placed my hand on a Bible, everything that I said would be true. I walked through those woods covered in snow and sparkling in the sun. I read all the same passages and stories that everyone else did. And one night, it just became clear. It wasn't a moment like some people have described to me in the past. I didn't really just know. I didn't feel anything physically happen to me. There was no hand on my shoulder or whispers in my ears or secret messages in my dreams. But when I had the opportunity to step up again and place my hand on the word of the Lord, I was confident that the Lord was my one true God. That I knew that He loved me for who I was. And I was confident not just in my words, but in my mind and in my heart. I knew that then my Lord was there for me, and He had always been. And I knew that I was one of His children. It was a very emotional moment for all of those around me. It was especially hard to admit that I had been wrong. And it was even harder to admit that at one point in my life, I had completely lost my faith and had not believed in the Lord. I didn't know how to explain that I had just been wandering in the dark, and I foolishly latched onto any light that I could find, even when it wasn't the right light. But in my speech, when it came to actually admitting out loud that I accepted the Lord, understood my faith, and truly believed in God, I had no trouble saying those words because I believed them and still believe them to this day. It wasn't anything like my first 2 trips to Fort. In fact, it was an experience that is so difficult to describe, I can't put it into words. And there are many words on this earth. The things that happened to me and the things that changed me are something that I simply don't understand at this point in time, and I'm not sure that I ever will, but I am incredibly thankful for them. I do understand and fully know that Troy Mendez and many other youth leaders, as well as friends and family members, helped me on my journey. I know that I had to stay very strong in a hard time and keep fighting for something that at the time I did not know might have been there. Those people, Troy especially, they kept me going. They kept me questioning, and they kept me fighting for the Lord. Those are the people I can thank the most. Without them, I wouldn't have bothered trying to find God for the 3rd time. Troy stuck with me and answered all my questions when others shied away from them. My family supported me with their love even when I fell deep into the dark. My friends and leaders continued to hold my hand even when I turned the other direction. Those connections, that love, it helped me the most. Fort was just such a wonderful place that it allowed me to reciprocate in the fact that I was able to finally admit to everyone, and I was able to finally comprehend that God was real, and God was there for me, and God loved me. And after everything I learned, and I'm still learning, I can only hope that I too aid others in their journey to Christ. Because knowing that the Lord loves you is truly the best gift of all. We were told to pick a quote, something that we felt hit our hearts very hard and represented our faith story. And it was hard to find one, but I settled on Romans 5:3-4. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope. I have wrestled with my faith, and I have been through a time of great suffering. But without those difficulties, I would not be the person I am today. Thank you all for listening, and remember, God loves you all.